Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those of you still on the fence, welcome back to another episode of Derailed, courtesy of Archaic Skids. I'm, of course, your host, Archaic Skids, and we have Rebel with the Cause. What's up, my brother?
Other than blood pressure, nothing. So,
well, blood pressure. I mean, no one's really worried about that.
Well,
It's fine.
I do have the Yeti cup filled with scotch and soda, so maybe my blood alcohol level here in a minute.
Hey, nice. And that might even bring down your blood pressure. So who knows? You know? Thin it out a little, up, down. We don't know.
Yeah, sideways sometimes.
I'm sure most of my audience knows who you are, but for those of them that don't, who are you?
Oh, well, my name is Eric. I live down here in Louisiana. I was the former elections chair for the Libertarian Party of Louisiana until I decided to stop wasting my time with that. And I host the Rebel with a Cause podcast. You can find it all over the internet. Your favorite podcatchers, BitChute, YouTube, and Odyssey, of course. So
nice. And is that a once a week, or do you do that daily? What's your motion there?
Yeah, I tried doing it daily once. I did 5 days in a row, and I was like, at the end, I was all hoarse, couldn't talk, and I was like, I don't know how Tom Woods does it. So no, I do once a week. Occasionally, I'll throw out a bonus episode on a Friday or something. And Nicky Pacone of Peace Freaks, he and I, we do a similar podcast where we talk about science fiction. And right now, we were going through the show The Expanse on Amazon. So you can catch some of those. Show. Yeah, that's very anarchic and libertarian themed.
Yeah,
in some cases.
Big fan of that of the theme of that show.
Yeah.
Right on, man. So you're more anarchist than libertarian, based on at least what I've read and seen of you and listening to a couple of your shows and stuff. I'm like, yeah, all right, this guy's, he's after my own heart.
Yeah, I just want to say down with the state and up with the individual. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to talk about down with the state. I actually just recently today learned that a 16-year-old boy in Connecticut got arrested for a fucking post on Snapchat. And it was some like archaic ass 1917 hate crime law that they had or whatever. They arrested this kid for basically posting something stupid. It wasn't threatening or anything. It was just this stupid racist thing that he posted. And they arrested his ass for it.
Oh my God! Teenagers make jokes.
Yeah, weird, and they say dumb things. That's so shocking,
Oh, teenagers say things that make the adults mad. Oh no.
Yeah. Where was it? Virginia or whatever. That story just came out recently about those two little girls with their lemonade stand or whatever.
Oh.
And they came and shut them down and told them you got 5 days plus you got to pay all this excise tax and shit. And I'm like, you people suck. Like, all you're doing is ruining these poor little. Yeah. Well, maybe you're turning them into anarchists. Maybe it's a good thing.
Keep it up, maybe. I don't know. No, speaking of lemonade stands, my daughter, she got like this little fold-out lemonade stand as like the little Happy Meal thing at one of the chicken joints around here. Yeah. And so it was like all these little characters, and they're doing a lemonade stand. I was just thinking, do I have the heart to tell her that this is highly illegal?
I probably would have told my kid.
So I just took a Sharpie marker and just drew an anarchist A on it.
Nice. That works. Yeah. That way when she goes out there, they already know what they're getting into when they walk up. Like, nope. She's a free person. Leave her be. I one of my favorite things to do, obviously, anyone that follows me knows this, is to just irritate the normies.
Please do. They need to be irritated.
Yes, their little statist cuck, like kind of nonsense that they share with people. I'm like, no, I'm gonna fuck with you because that's what I do. Recently, just got into it a little bit today with this tool who's basically just saying, no, just wear the mask. It's a slight inconvenience, and I'm like, how about fuck you? Like, you know what I mean?
The whole mask thing. I've been walking around Baton Rouge, Louisiana, maskless pretty much since the whole thing started. I just put one on at work just because of employment and everything. But anywhere else I've walked into, at first you get some looks and stares, and I was like, "Oh, well, sir, you need a mask." And I was like, "Nope, exempt."
Yeah,
and because I would just use their little lingo against them, because in the governor's mask mandate, in Section 3 it outlined exemptions, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know people were exempt." I was like, "Oh yeah. Some of us can't wear it."
I live in New Mexico, and we have this little 4-foot dictator that runs our state.
Yeah.
And she just recently announced, like, oh, we're just going to follow the CDC guidelines or whatever, right? You know, these new ones that if you're vaccinated, you don't need it, yada yada, whatever. So
yeah. Come ask me if I'm vaccinated.
Yeah, so I go to walk in Walmart the other day, and the guy at the entrance, he's still wearing a mask or whatever, but he goes, "Are you vaccinated?" And I went, "Yeah."
Yep, sure am.
Yeah. Sure am. I mean, I've been vaccinated against all kinds of shit and stuff I don't even know. You know what I mean? He didn't specify what. He just asked if I was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, smallpox, anthrax. Yeah, man, I'm vaccinated. We're good. You know what I mean?
I was like, dude, I was a kid in the 80s. What do you think? I've been vaccinated. Sure.
Yeah, see, and it's a weird situation because I get in these conversations. Well, I mean, conflicts more than conversation with people, and they're like, "Why are you afraid of the vaccine?" And I'm like, "I'm not." And they're like, "Well, why don't you take it?" I don't need it. Why? Yeah. Because it's not fucking Ebola, dude. It's like I'm young, I'm healthy, I ain't worried. You know what I mean? So I don't need to go get this nonsense shot for no goddamn reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at least I can play the trump card of I have an autoimmune disorder called Hashimoto's, and so I can't take it.
Shit, yeah. So it might kill your ass.
Yeah, I've got doctor's approval that he's like, no, you don't need to take it. In fact, I just don't. I was like,
yeah. Well, you know what's crazy, man, is you. I mean, at least growing up for me, anyway, for sure, it was always like, don't take advice from TV. Doctors, don't do any of this shit. Like, go talk to your doctor, get, your medical professional, go get a second opinion if you need one or whatever.
Wait, Dr. Oz is a liar?
I don't know, but it's crazy to me to watch these people be like, no, it's safe. And I'm like, you're not my doctor, dude. Yeah, you're some asshole on TV that said, don't wear a mask. Now wear a mask. Now wear 55 masks. Yeah. You got to wear it if you're vaccinated. No, you don't. I don't know what the hell's going on. Like that little varmint needs to be deported to.
I don't know. You're talking about Dr. Fauci? Yeah.
Yes, the fake doctor that runs the planet now.
Yeah, I was taking extreme joy in kind of pointing out his history with medications in the 80s.
Yeah, HIV and all that nonsense.
Yeah, I was like, you realize he killed thousands of gay men when he gave HIV patients full-blown AIDS with his AZT drug, right? And they're like, wait, what? And then you pull up the articles from it.
And they're like,
yeah, he was also the guy that said you can catch AIDS from a doorknob.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the epidemiologist that we're all listening to now. Right. No. This is insane.
If anybody needed to be spaced, a la The Expanse,
He was kidding, YouTube. Calm down.
I mean that for the show. I mean,
yeah, for the show, like
for legal reasons. I'm joking.
Yeah, it's creepy, man. Like this whole last year has been creepy to me. I'm like, all right, man. Like, so, okay, I joined the Marine Corps. They brainwash the shit out of people. Sorry. Yeah, well, they brainwash the shit
US
out of
Army.
people.
I'm contractually obligated to mess with you. So,
well, you ain't ready to be a Marine yet, but that's okay. Anyway, so it's just, I mean, you see the nonsense, right? Especially with this weird culty fetish that half of this country has with military service members. And that, like, you say, oh, I was a Marine or whatever. And they're like, oh, thank you for your service. And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
It's like, yeah, please don't. I do like the Larry Sharp answer to all that. You just said, just thank him for being at home. And that's it. Just leave it at that.
Thank him for not dying.
Yeah. It's like, thank you for being home. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. But even through all of that shit, even through all the propaganda that you see for, back the blue or back the troops or yada yada, I have never seen so much propaganda as this whole situation where I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, it is insane to me. It's crazy, man. Like, I don't know if you saw it. There was a clip of Rachel Maddow that was basically like her admitting that I've been brainwashed and I don't know what to do now. And it's like, I mean,
okay, well, rare moment of clarity. You wanted to come right out and say it.
Yeah, so it's so weird, dude.
It was like that. It was like that doctor talking to Chris Cuomo. She was like, "Well, what's going to be the carrot and the stick to get people to take this vaccine? If the states are just going to open up."
It's like, how are we supposed to get him to do it? And I'm like,
yeah, Chris Cuomo just sitting there just going, I don't think you were supposed to say that.
Cuomo, the faker that had the vid, and then he just went like running around fucking Hamptons and shit.
Yeah.
And then they play this nonsense thing on scene. Look at me coming out of the basement. Shut up, you tool. Like, oh man, I hate politicians. I hate
they
media,
are the worst, aren't they?
Maybe more than politicians.
Yeah.
Like, and that's it. I see this thing, and I'll tweet it once in a while. And I get blowback even from libertarians on this, or whatever. And I'm like, if you are like idolizing a politician, there's something wrong with you. Politicians,
I don't even like libertarian politicians. No,
I'm like, look, if you do what you said you were going to do, all right, I'll give you props for that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, that never happens, and every time it doesn't, they should be mocked and ridiculed relentlessly.
Yeah,
no one should ever want to be a politician under any circumstances. No amount of money should make a person want to go through what I would like to put them through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they should rank lower than...
Except for Shane Hazel. Shane Hazel should be governor, and all you fucks better go vote for him.
If for nothing else, for the spicy Twitter.
Just for the fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the politicians should definitely rank well below used car salesmen and personal injury lawyers.
Yes. Well, I think personal injury lawyers that can't actually win lawsuits become politicians. That's how that happens.
Oh, so we're saying the personal injury lawyer to politician pipeline. I got you.
Yeah. They all seem to be one and the same.
Bug-eyed and spittle in the corner of their mouths. Yeah.
Yeah, I get all these people, these so-called centrists. Which, by the way, Dave Smith is perfectly right in his beating of the middle, or the quote-unquote middle. He's like, you people are awful. You're the worst out of everyone, because it's just like, whatever, like, it doesn't work, but we'll just keep doing the same shit over and over and hope for the best. But
yeah, I mean, that's even in the Bible.
Yeah,
for the Bible thumpers out there, God wants you to be either hot or cold. He doesn't want lukewarm. He'll spit you out of his mouth. So.
Exactly. That's funny. And anyway, but like these politicians, like Ted Cruz says this dumb shit on Twitter all the time, and I constantly attack him for it. Because all these people are like, Ted Cruz is one of the best ones, and I'm like, best at what?
Yeah, best at what? Fucking you in the ass? I was like, what is it?
Best at sucking at being a senator? Okay, you're right. He's the best.
Sure.
And it's like, well, I mean, who would you prefer, AOC? And I'm like, I would prefer no government. I made this clear. I don't know how this is difficult for you.
You're talking to an anarchist. I don't want any of those people to be employed.
No. And they're always like, well, what about warlords? I'm like, you understand, I'd be one of the warlords. I ain't scared.
I always like to throw back these, like, the warlords are in charge.
Yes, we have warlords, you idiots. Like, the warlords sent me to multiple countries for warlord type material. So I'm not, that's not a thing, that works for me. And, but one of the funniest things to me is, oh, well, what about roads? We had fucking roads, you idiots, before we had an income tax and any of that shit. This is not new.
Yeah, like, that one hits me very personally because I'm in civil engineering. So quite literally, my roads are my job. So,
exactly.
And I'm pretty sure I've designed tons of private roads. They all belong in industrial plants, but they're there.
They're
and
there.
Guess what? And I can figure out how to get it paid for without pointing guns at everybody.
Just for mathematical sake, for people to understand, Texas has over 18,000 miles of paved roads that were paid for by private businesses so they can get in and out of oil fields. So don't talk to me about roads because they're going to build a goddamn road if they need one. That's just how it happens.
Yeah.
You don't need the government.
And as it turns out, some of the best roads in the country are private. Walmart parking lots.
Yes. Yeah, you ever notice that Walmart redoes their parking lot like every 4 years? That
I wonder how
weird,
they're able to pay for that without having a machine gun mounted. Yeah. Yeah, so
turns out they afford it because of slaves in China. But whatever. I'm just saying. At least the machine gun's pointed outwards.
Yes. Yeah, so I've had those knockout drag out fights with people, and it was like, well, you just want Amazon to have a road. I was like, yeah, probably, because they need trucks
Amazon
to go
actually
places.
has roads. They own their own roads. This is a real thing already.
Have you ever been to a distribution center? There's roads all over the place in there.
Exactly. And do you think that the city built them? No, they did not. Amazon built them. Not to mention, and that's a great point there. If Amazon built a distribution center wherever it is, right? The city doesn't build the road to the distribution center.
No, they might put a turn in for a driveway, and that's about it.
Yeah, but Amazon
wherever the easement
everything.
stops. Yeah.
And if in the event there were no city roads, Amazon would build the damn roads if they needed them.
Yeah, and you know what? I could drive down the road, and sure, it might be a little annoying to get an Amazon ad pop up on my phone while I'm driving.
You shouldn't really be looking at your phone when you're driving. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, this is far in the future when we've got driverless cars, and I'm free.
We already have those, but unfortunately, we also have a government that's like, you're not allowed to do it. Did you see that there was this great thing that I was like, it was one of I think Magnus Panvidia reposted it, but it was like Be Ungovernable. And it's this dude that got arrested for like sitting in the back seat of his Tesla or whatever while the car just drives him around. And so they stole his car and everything because that's what these Praetorian Guard do. And so the dude who's super loaded goes and buys another Tesla and does it again and gets arrested again and literally tells him, I'll just keep buying Teslas.
Yeah. The little weight that you have to have on the steering wheel can be bought on Amazon to trick out the Tesla to think that there are hands on the wheel.
Yes.
And as it turns out, their autopilot is actually quite good.
Yeah, it's very, very good. And I mean, honestly, in like 2-3 years, it'll probably be safer than most, at least female drivers for sure. So that's for all you ladies out there. Yes. Only 22% of my audience is ladies. So if I lose them,
dude, you're doing pretty well because it's 10% for me, and I've got like another 1% that don't specify their choice of pronouns. So that's out there.
Well, that's why my intro, the people on the fence. I'm very inclusive. I include everybody.
Yeah,
there's just no way to know who everybody is anymore. So
that's true.
It's like, I don't know what you're gonna call yourself, so I'm good with it.
Who would have thought since 2018 we all have been staring at each other's necks looking for Adam's apples?
That's funny.
Is that?
I got in trouble one time. The most trouble I really ever got in was I had David Feit on the show, and we were just goofing off, obviously. And I was like, we were talking about, the oppressed people, the minority
we're
class.
all oppressed. Yeah.
And I was like, I said something about Asians or whatever, and I'm like, wait, I don't actually know. Are they white now? And he goes, no, they're oppressed again. And I said, oh, they're yellow.
Okay.
And so, obviously it's a joke, right?
Yeah.
But then for whatever reason, me and him thought it was a great idea to put a yellow square in our Twitter bios, in solidarity with our Asian brethren. And people got pissed, dude. Super pissed. Yes. And I'm like, wait, like a month ago you were saying put a black square in your stuff in solidarity, but now when I put a yellow one, you're all upset. I don't understand.
Oh, okay. So I have to ding you on the black square thing. Like most things that target woke people, the blackout on Instagram was actually a 4chan hoax.
That's funny. I never did the black square thing. It was just something that I just found it funny that people got so upset about the yellow square. And I'm like, dude, you guys do this dumb shit all the time. But 4chan is the reason you're not supposed to make the OK sign anymore either, because that was them.
Again, this is another hoax.
Yeah, they came up with that shit
and the media just bit down on it. It was like, oh, really? Oh.
Well, it's not like these people are very bright.
No. If they were, they would not be journalists. They would be doing something else.
Yes, they would build more roads.
Yes. Good. Another engineer in the office.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Speaking from a guy who has dealt with a bunch of engineers, you need more of those, like you need more lawyers.
Oh my God. And you thought libertarians were socially awkward and didn't know how to talk to people? Okay. Yeah.
I have literally, so in the oil field, I have had engineers call me and they're like, you didn't set that up right. And I'm like, yes, I did. And they're like, no, you didn't. I'm looking at the draft. And I'm like, yeah, but your shit doesn't work. And they're like,
Yeah.
no, it's you the way you have it set up won't work. And I'm like, really? Because it's functioning. Like
Yeah.
the way you wanted it to function is happening. And they're like, no. You have to do it my way. And I'm like, no, because then the goddamn thing won't work. Like,
Why do you think we started doing this way? To get around your bullshit.
yeah. I actually had a conversation with an engineer once and I go, have you ever actually been on a location?
Probably
And he was
not.
like, well, no. And I'm like, then shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, they do get really irritated when you tell them they're dumb. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. I've got degrees. I don't care.
I got a degree too, and mine's better than yours because this operation's functioning right now. But I'm also like, I threw an ocean inspector off a well site once because he didn't have steel-toed boots on.
Nice. Didn't even wear the proper safety.
Yeah, fucking straight up tennis shoes, bro. Not even kidding. Had tennis shoes on, popped out of his truck, and I'm like, "What are you doing, bro?" And he was like, "I'm here for an inspection." And I'm like,
I was like,
"You're not."
No.
And he's like, "What? I have to do an inspection. It's your turn today." And I'm like, "You don't even have on your proper safety gear, dude. You need to get the hell off this location and come back, when you're properly outfitted for this particular area and job." And he was like, "You cannot kick me off." And I'm like, "The hell I can't. It's in your own guidelines. Get off my location."
Anybody can call a work stoppage for any reason.
Yep, and we got fined. But
yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you made the government worker look like an idiot, and you got fined.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, but this was like one of those times where I was like not thinking, or I would have been like had my like, hey, goddamn you are. But that's not what you're worried about when you're on a location with 10,000 psi of oil and natural gas running through lines.
Yeah, roughnecking is not something that you can take your eyes off or go to sleep on. So.
Well, I was flowback, but yeah, it's the same thing. Like shit goes wrong and separator explodes. Like literally, we've had locations burned to the ground. So that happens. We had a situation one evening where there was a valve that froze. This was in Utah, and a contractor, which I'm not going to name for legal reasons, had their employees out there that were to try to thaw the valve, used a heat gun to try to thaw this valve on an oil and natural gas well. Yeah. Everything burned down.
Yeah.
They make big fire. It's like,
yeah. Well, what's that thing that causes fire? Is it heat and fuel?
Yeah, it's this weird thing about like hot and gas goes boom. Who knows?
So bizarre. How did it happen, I wonder?
Yeah, and strange. It's like, oh, we got to have all this government, and yet the government couldn't stop that from happening. Weird.
Right. Yeah.
Like all their rules, all their regulations. When they gave me that fucking $1,000 ticket because my Dawn dish soap, I didn't have my stupid fucking paper in my book for it or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And then they're like, well, I mean, you got to have it. And I'm like, but it's fucking soap, dick. It's on the thing. Like, and they're like, well, you don't have it in here. So $1,000 fine, dude. And I'm like, yes, we definitely need more government. That's what we need.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody who's ever been to a DMV and there's like, these are the people you want in charge of your healthcare.
Like, or anything, actually.
Half of them aren't even qualified to clean a toilet. Why would you want them anywhere near you?
Oh, no shit, dude. What's that guy's name in Pennsylvania? Sean Parnell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's running for like Senate now or something. He ran for Congress, got fucked, and now he's running for Senate or whatever.
Yeah.
He was on Tim Pool's podcast last night. And
the epitome of the guy who just started paying attention. Yes,
exactly. That's perfectly stated. But Tim had stated something along the lines of wanting the government firearms services, which is their entire job is at the age of 16, you go in, you fill out paperwork just like a driver's license, and then they give you your government issued firearms. And Parnell goes, wait, so you want to grow government? And he's like, well, and then he goes, okay, fine. From your angle, how about we just repeal the NFA? And the look on Parnell's face, dude, was like, oh, he did not like that idea. And I'm like, pussy, can't vote for him.
Yeah.
Like, because I swear to God, if someone like rolled onto the congressional floor with a bill that says we want to repeal the NFA, I'd be like, I like this person.
Yes.
For at least this 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
this guy is the shit right now. So yeah, I will give Thomas Massie the points for coming out with like that single line bill that he always tries to introduce that just repeals the Department of Education.
It's just like, it's just gone.
It's just one line. This bill automatically repeals the Department of Education. Just close it.
And he introduces it like every single year, whatever. Like right when they start their legislative session, he just introduces it. Never gets in there, obviously. But,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Government give up power. That's weird.
Wait, government giving up control over the minds of little children? No. Can't have that.
That's actually one of the things that I actually really liked about one of the silver linings, in my opinion, about this whole fucking Wuhan flu thing going on was that.
The amount of homeschooling.
Yeah, dude. I know
doubled
these
and
people
tripled
are
in some
like,
areas.
what are they teaching you in that government factory? And I'm like, nothing good, bro. Nothing good.
Yeah. As what was especially telling was when you're sitting there and actually looking at the work that they do during the day. I was like, okay, so you've got like maybe 2 hours of instructions. What are the other 5 hours for?
Teaching them how to finger paint and that everyone's oppressed and white people are evil and all that kind of shit. Whatever.
Yeah. My personal favorite, the Common Core math. It's like they're not even teaching you math in a way that makes sense.
2 + 2 is 5.
It could be 5. Are we talking significant?
It could be 5. Oh man, I hate how I just saw this article. I just retweeted it right before we started talking, and it was like, we may have to force people to take the vaccine. It's like,
okay, go for that.
Okay, so this is gonna shock nobody that watches my show, or really any of my friends that know me very well, but it's going to take a fuckload of you to hold me down and give me a shot of anything, because your moron government spent your tax dollars teaching me how to not get held down.
Right.
So
it's like,
what's more dangerous, me taking that shot or you forcing me to take it? Just saying.
Yeah. That's one of the things I always bring up to the gun grabbers on Twitter when they say, we just need the argument's done. We're just coming for your guns. I was like, okay, so dead cops? Lots of them.
Lots and lots. I mean, they do want to defund them.
Yeah. I was like, do you want to defund the cops, or you want to send them to their ultimate deaths? There was like, no cops would die. I was like, you send a cop to my house, I will shoot him, and then I'm going to go find the guy who sent him to my house and shoot him.
Yeah.
But for legal reasons, I am joking.
For legal reasons, YouTube, he's just screwing around. And here's the thing to that is that there's actual evidence. This has already happened.
Yeah.
Cops have been sent over these red flag laws, and people have died because of that. That is not good. You are causing violence where no violence existed, which is insane to me. When they're like, well, this person might be a crazy, so we got to go and make sure that the crazy doesn't do something violent, and then you bring violence to a person that you apparently think might be crazy. It's like, what do you think is going to happen in this situation?
Yeah, if anybody needs like a crash course in what police do when they're sent for a welfare check, the results are usually never good. You might have that one autistic guy who's like taking a shower and maybe screaming at the top of his lungs.
That would be me.
Yeah, and the police come in and they just know that there's a naked man screaming. I guess we got to shoot him. We have.
That seems to be there. Well, I mean, even if the man is crawling on his hands and knees, just trying to keep his pants from falling down, they have no issue but to shoot him.
Yeah, let's play a really fun game of Simon Says.
Yeah, and oh man, when it comes to like, that's one of the things when people are like, oh, we want to defund the police. I'm like, all right, I'm game. And it's always hilarious to me when they're like, well, these cops are just out there hunting black people. First of all, that's not true. Cops are hunting all people. Let's be honest.
It's everybody because of the drug war. So you can thank Nixon for this bullshit.
Yes, everybody is on the, they're all being hunted. But my point being is that they'll say in one breath, like, oh, these cops are dangerous and we got to get rid of them and we got to defund them and blah, blah, blah. Plus, we're going to take your guns away. I'm like, who the fuck do you think is going to take the guns?
Exactly. Who's coming?
Like, are you going to send a social worker to take my guns? I promise that's not going to end the way you think it will.
No.
Although if you send cops, that's not going to end the way you think it will either. Like,
no. And ultimately, you're going to have to, bite down on the bullet that the gun crime that you were shedding crocodile tears over a week before has now escalated exponentially. And so now the National Guard is going to get called in.
And they're not very well trained. I've met a bunch of them. We actually had to do a training operation with them. Riot training is what we were doing.
Yeah.
And they brought I think 3 platoons in of National Guard, like California, down to Pendleton, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to do riot training," and I'm like, "I am so volunteering for this, like for sure, you know."
Yeah.
And so we all
for
get
shits and giggles.
Oh yeah, man. And you know, like in the military, you don't volunteer for shit. Like, you're like, nah, dude, I already volunteered, and look where the fuck I am.
No, you learned real quick to carry around a manila folder with paper in it.
Exactly.
So you don't get fucking hassled.
But that one, dude, volunteered for sure. I was like, oh, I am so in on this, like, absolutely. And so I get there to the exercise, and they go, what side do you want to be on? And I'm like, what do you mean? And they're like, you want to be a rioter, or do you want to be teaching the rioters, you know, these guardsmen how to restrain the rioters? And I'm like, oh, I am so fucking the rioter, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. And so there was about 15 of us that were supposed to riot, right? So there's 30 of them in the first exercise, 15 rioters. And I was like, so I'm talking to the boys, right? And I'm like, all right, we have to completely fuck their lives up right now.
Yes.
Because they're like, well, you know, they're over there. They got all their gear. They got their shields. They're like prep ready. Most of them are, you know, a little bit younger, whatever, than we were at the time. And I'm like, let's just fuck their lives up, you know? And God, we had these people running. It was hilarious. Like, to the point we were getting yelled at, stop it. You're supposed to be teaching them. I'm like, I am teaching them that.
Yeah,
you suck. Whoever wants to win will win.
Right.
That's the end.
Yeah, so I have a pretty similar story about taking prisoners and stuff. So regular Army, 1998, Fort Benning, Georgia, and we're learning how to capture enemy prisoners. So one of the drill sergeants just thought this would just be hilarious. He goes, "Okay, now you guys, you're going to claim that you're American citizens and that you have rights." So immediately, roster number 224 raises his hand, and drill sergeant, when are we ever going to be arresting American citizens? He goes, "You remember that shit in LA a couple years ago?" Yes, sergeant. And he goes, "Yeah, one day they'll beg for us." Okay, great.
No way, this isn't going south.
Yeah, what's that thing called if you haven't been in 6 months? Oh, that's right, entry level separation. I'm gonna need paperwork like right now. I'm not doing this shit.
That's insane, man. I never ran into anyone like that, actually. Thankfully, I never had anyone do that. Like, one day they'll
be that open about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, never. I did have a Navy chaplain one time that we were having a conversation about. I don't remember what had happened. Something had happened in America. We were in Fallujah, and we were. It was like mass, I guess, in a way, whatever, like a church in its own right. I basically just did it so I could get the fuck off post for 2 hours. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just go listen. And our chaplain was bad as shit. Don't get me wrong. Like, he was a badass. You know what I mean? Like, he would yell at our lieutenants if they, like, because he would get in debates with us intentionally. You know what I mean? And so we'd be talking shit, and it's like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I'd be arguing with him. And then, of course, some douche, butter bar or whatever, it'd be like,
oh yeah,
hey, you can't talk to him like that, because the chaplain was I think a captain in the Navy.
Yeah.
And then he would just rip their ass and be like, you shut the fuck up. You don't come in here and talk to them like when I'm talking to them. So he's dope. But we were having a conversation.
Second lieutenant, you will stand at attention when you're addressing your captain. Yeah.
Exactly, dude. And like, what are they going to do then? They're just terrified. You know what I mean? For anyone watching, captain in the Navy is essentially the same rank as like basically a full bird colonel in the Army or Marine Corps. So their lieutenants are terrified. of them. Anyway, but we were having a conversation, and something had happened in America. I don't remember exactly what it was, but one of the guys said, I don't understand why we didn't send in the National Guard into that situation. And the chaplain said, that is the worst possible thing you could ever say to me in that situation, because your oath that you took, if a governor sent in the National Guard like they did at Kent State, your job as a United States Marine is to put that National Guard in a hole.
Right.
And I'm like, damn, like okay. This dude ain't even playing. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, no, man, like, that's not how it works,
So for a lot of them,
respect for him. I mean, other than the fact that, non-combatant, but, mad respect that's how he saw the world.
Yeah, and that's always the funny thing when I see them. It's like, oh, little Mr. Gun Owner is going to take on an Abrams tank, and I was like, oh, you're operating under the assumption that Abrams tank will still be there when they go put a guy into it to come after me.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, but we've been fighting people that wear dresses and sandals in the desert for 20 years, bro.
Right, Chuckles and Pashtun,
Yeah. How long did we go through Vietnam with a bunch of people that were?
And that one still ranks as a loss. So
Korea. I mean, that's the other thing. I've seen people say that, like, well, maybe America should just take North Korea out, and I'm like, that's not going to be what you think it would be. First of all, North Korea has one of the most elite trained militaries on the face of the planet.
Yeah, the rest of the people don't eat. The military does. So
yes, they're extraordinarily good at what they do. Right. So I'm not interested in a battle with North Korea. I'm not interested in a battle with anyone. Right. I would be interested to see a battle between Texas and California. That might be interesting.
That'd be fun. Watching all the Cali boys like, hey, bro, what's up, man?
Hey, man, what you doing, bro? No. Get out of the way. I'm riding my horse. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just so funny that the people don't really understand how things would work, and it's like, man, you are Dunning-Kruger just embodied right there. Look at you, thinking you know how it would go down.
Oh, it's insane to me, because it's like, all right, I don't understand the mind virus or the mental gymnastics that it takes for someone to go, well, you don't need an AR-15 because that's a weapon of war. By the way, no, it's not.
No. It's never been employed anywhere.
No. But also at the same time, well, you don't need that AR-15 because what are you going to take on the government? It's like, oh, okay, but you can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? Right. It either is a weapon of war or it's not a weapon of war. Like, what is this nonsense in your brain where you think that somehow it's, I don't understand, man. Yeah. Not to mention, an M16 is one of the most ineffective weapons on the face of Earth.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to take out a coyote with it, maybe.
Yeah. But, and not the coyotes that Trump was talking about.
No,
although technically it would do that too.
It's all about shot placement.
They're just they're not effective. In fact, they were literally designed to be less lethal firearms than the M1 Garand, Yeah. If you want to talk about like actual straight up weapons of war, tanks are weapons of war.
Right.
Jet fighters are weapons of war. Yeah. No, there is no rifle anywhere on Earth that is, okay, maybe like a full auto Barrett. Like you might constitute like something like that as a weapon of war. But generally speaking, no rifle, rather it's either single shot or even selective fire.
Yeah.
Is any more a weapon of war than a fucking bow and arrow is.
Yeah. And what's so funny about that is when the Constitution was written, people had home use howitzer cannons. So, so I was like, yeah, these people had fucking artillery.
Warships.
Yes, exactly.
Like for real, like they could lay siege to a city with their warship. And they're like, but the Second Amendment doesn't actually count for these. Yes, it does.
Yes,
do you know how it ends? There's only one amendment that ends this way. Shall not be infringed. It's almost like they were like, all these other ones y'all can argue about later, but not this one. fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I take great pleasure in also pointing out, because also, I can throw Spooner quotes at you all day long and it doesn't really mean anything. But it's like when someone posts that, it was like, well, the Second Amendment doesn't. I was like, it says right there in the middle, it is the right of the people
to keep and bear arms. The people,
the people, right of the people.
Yeah, but that's because these people also don't know what a militia is. Like, these are the same midwits that'll go, well, a militia is the National Guard. And I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. What does it say on their chest? It says U.S. Army, dickbags.
Yeah. Yeah, they were created in 1936, a couple of hundred years after when the stupid document was
1776 written. Seems a little odd that they were like, yeah. So Patrick is about to join us.
Is he?
We're going to bring him in. He's sitting back here in the back. So, I mean, if you want to talk any shit right quick before he jumps in and can defend himself, this is a great time to do that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to see him at Childerberg next week, so I'll get to say it to his face.
Oh, well, that always makes it better. All right, Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring in Patrick McFarlane, Liberty Weekly. What's up, my brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, there he is.
We're just in here talking shit about the government and stadies and,
I heard you talking shit about lawyers.
Yes.
Personal injury lawyers.
Especially personal injury lawyers, ambulance chasers.
Yes.
So
most definitely.
I'm really hoping that's what you do for a living now, so that it's even funnier.
Well, that's what I used to do.
But he saw the light.
Yeah. Lizard people.
They might as well be.
I'm too nice to be a lawyer. I think that's kind of what I learned.
Is that even a thing? Like, can't you just be a nice lawyer?
No,
okay. Not really. You have to have that meanness in you. So,
well, I'm a terrible person, so maybe I'd make a great lawyer. Maybe I should become one and just be like, yeah, I don't care about any other person.
Yeah, just look at Legal Man's yeah, just look at Legal Man's Twitter. You got to have that meanness in you.
I gotcha.
Having no conscience is definitely an asset. Like,
well, see, that's where I'd run into it. I do kind of have a conscience.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to my family and stuff,
Exactly.
I mean, it'd be nice if you can turn it on and off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things, like with this whole COVID thing. People are like, well, what about your grandparents? And I'm like, oh, my grandparents are dead. And they're like, well, what about my grandparents? And I'm like, they're not my grandparents. I don't care. Like, I don't understand the argument you're making.
Yeah. So that scene in Star Trek when Data turns off his emotion chip.
Yeah.
And then Captain Picard says, Data, I envy you sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Which actually, military, which all of us have some experience with, you kind of do get that built into you a little bit to be able to turn that emotion off and just go, balls to the wall for whatever the
it's just the way of dealing with stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, Patrick, you're new to the chat here. Most people probably do know who you are that watch this show, but for those that don't, introduce yourself and give people a little history. Who is the former lawyer?
Well, so I run Liberty Weekly. In a second year in law school, I started doing Liberty Weekly, and I practiced law for about 2 years. And I was a litigator, so I would at first I started doing like personal injury and criminal defense and like contracts and stuff like that. But then I got a job at a personal injury firm, so I did that for about a year and a half. And then that didn't really work out, mostly because I liked having a life like outside of work, and I had a family. Yeah. So now I'm still practicing law but I'm general counsel for a title company. So I'm in real estate now, but it's not litigating, and it's like a 9 to 5 for the most part. And so I get, time to do this and hang out with you fine folks.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a lot like contract stuff. So,
yeah, and it's funny because you actually get to deal with property, like,
yeah.
So in a way, it's kind of
property rights.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's interesting to me because another lawyer friend of mine, which I'm sure most or both of you probably know, Stacy for Truth.
Yes. Yeah. I had her on recently. She's awesome.
Yeah. She fucking hates contract law.
Yeah.
Like when you talk to her, she's like, "Oh God, it's so boring." So she
Yeah,
was a
it
criminal defense attorney,
Yeah.
and that's what she did for the majority of her career before she decided that being a lawyer sucked too.
Yeah.
And now I guess she's going to teach kids how to strip on some weird legal website. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe she can fill me in later.
Wait,
anyway.
Stacey's gonna strip?
No, this is just me fucking with her. I'm in this group with her, and someone said, "Oh, what are you going to teach?" Because she's going to do this, like professor.
I'm in there.
Thing.
I lurk.
Oh yeah, right, okay. And I was like, "Oh, she's going to teach them stripping, obviously."
Yeah, I saw that one on there. I was like, wait, she's gonna laugh at that, or she's gonna be mortified. One of the two.
Nah, she's gonna laugh. I'm not actually supposed to talk about her anymore because apparently her husband thinks she's got the hots for me. Which I mean, if she doesn't, she's doing something wrong, obviously. Like, come on. No, anyway. So,
is this where we have to post? It's like, who's your Twitter crush?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. If someone actually did that, then like my response would just be to fuck with people, and it'd be something insane. You know what I mean? Like, I like Shane's bald head.
Yeah, the ladies all say they want a baldy, and then when they get there with the baldy, it was like, "Where's your hair?" I was like, "I'm sorry, genetics."
See,
I like looking like RoboCop too much.
Both of my brothers got just my grandpa's genetics when it came to hair. So they both just shaved their heads now.
Yeah.
Because they can grow a little bit of hair, but not, they're like, fuck, that's retarded. So they just shaved their shit off, Yep, there you go. They straight up bald that thing. And I mean, they bicked that thing. Like, you know what I mean? So it's bald. And
I don't quite take the razor
because,
to it. I'll just, no guard on the
get
clippers.
To keep my hair, into my, I'm getting closer to the 40s now. And they're both pissed, They're like, how'd that happen? My older brother was bald when he was like 25.
Yeah.
So
I started losing mine in my 30s, and that was probably due to the Hashimoto's. I get upset with my younger brother. At the age of 18, his hair went salt and pepper, and he's kept all of his hair on top of his head. And I'm like, you mother.
Oh, shit.
Nice. Jeez.
I'm probably going to join you. I'm going to lose it. I know I'm going to lose it. So that's
Probably.
He's trying to work on that like gray streak thing on the front there.
Yeah.
Hey, he's like, yeah.
That's,
he's like, no, look, I'm special because I've got some gray. I'm obviously have wisdom.
Obviously, yes.
Then it's also attached to that little baby face. So the ladies are like, I don't know about wisdom.
Well, yeah. I don't know if I've shaved since I started the podcast. Like I haven't shaved my face clean, but I grew a beard so people think.
Wait, okay. When did you start the podcast?
2017.
And you haven't shaved since then?
I haven't had a clean shaven face since then.
I haven't shaved for like 3 days.
Yeah, like this scruff is like 2 days old.
Like how did you?
And I'm missing one testicle. So
yeah. I'm guessing you trim it at least, right? You keep it manicured like a girl. I mean,
Now it's like at some point I just like can't stop doing this, so I take it all off.
See, I only shave once the hair on the top of the lip starts to get into your mouth.
Oh
yeah.
Then you're like, no, that can't do that.
Yeah. Once I start walrusing it or Sam Elliott it, it's like, no, time to trim it.
Yeah, exactly.
What Scott does, because Scott, he'll shave his face clean, then he'll grow like a gnarly ass beard, and then he just starts it over again.
Right.
I'd love.
Well, we can't all be like Scott.
Yeah,
like,
unfortunately,
some of us have to be regular people.
Yeah, there was a time I let it go for a couple of years, and then it got down there, and then like all of my chin hair turned white at the same time.
Nice. See,
like,
mine is turning white, and I'm okay with it. I'm just going to keep it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Try to get that Pete Quinones thing going on with that.
Yeah.
White goatee.
Yeah, I was a little upset because during my 30s, like I had these two little white streaks that came down on both sides, kind of like an Orson Welles type thing. And I was like, man, that just looks so badass. And then it all turned white. It just grew together. And I was like, damn it.
You're like, come on, man. You could have let me hang on to that for a minute. Damn it. I get that. like who is it? There's a guy. What's his name? Jack Murphy. He's got this weird thing that goes on with his beard, and people ask him like, do you diet that way? And he says no. I'm not entirely sure. I believe.
Right.
But
maybe a whole gallon of Grecian formula gets used there. So.
I like screwing with Jack Murphy on Twitter because he just tweets this nonsense, and I'm like, God, you're such a status cuck. It's irritating,
Don't get me started on like his appearances on Tim Pool.
Oh, don't you love when he's on there every other Wednesday? The one show that I always make sure to miss. I'm like, I don't need to listen to this idiot.
I'm just surprised by how bad Tim's takes have gotten. I've almost started like
his takes on gun rights are phenomenal now.
Those are good, but he slips in like these atomic bombs, like pro Israel. He went off on like an unhinged thing about that yesterday. And then this Chinese Uyghur thing, I've made it my personal vendetta to like.
Yeah, Patrick has pretty much made a project out of it. So
I've yes.
To go after Tim Pool on the Uyghur thing?
Yeah, on the Uyghur thing. I've been trying to get to the bottom of it.
I suppose I'm confused. What is it that Tim Pool did that upset you when it comes to the Uyghur argument?
Well, so I used to watch Tim Pool all the time. Like all of his daily segments that piqued my interest. And then he would do this, the IRL show. And I just noticed that there was like a 2-week span where he devoted, like, I kid you not, like 3 hours of content towards saying how the Chinese Communist Party was committing genocide against the Uyghurs. And I just thought it was strange. And like, I mean, he would say about like, oh, they're systematically raping these people. They're like, they're putting them in concentration camps and like killing them in mass levels. And he would go off and off. And I decided to look into it because I thought it was suspicious. And some of the people he's had on his show are literal, like there's this cult called Falun Gong. And okay, maybe it's not a cult, but Falun Gong is like this Chinese spiritualist movement. And they've made it their vendetta to destroy the Chinese Communist Party, which you would think is a good thing. However,
yeah, they just want to replace it with their own thing. So
exactly, yeah. And
I gotcha.
Basically, Falun Gong, they own the Epoch Times and they own New Tang Dynasty, which is like this, like internet news show. If you've seen it,
I've seen it.
And
it's not very good. I don't watch it, but I've seen it.
Well, it tricks like Trumpsters into watching it because it's actually like a conservative news source.
It's very easy to trick Trumpsters.
Yes.
Like it's
deep
not
thinkers,
hard at all.
they are not.
No.
Yeah. So. I mean, I'm not. I guess. All right. Cool. I have a huge problem with communism. But that's. I also just have a huge problem with democracy too, because I'm like, you don't get to fucking vote away my rights. Fuck you.
You said communism. We understand. You didn't have to repeat yourself.
Okay, very good.
Well, it's like, it's all part of this whole new Cold War thing that like the elites in foreign policy are talking about. Is this like, who was it? Mad Dog Mattis, when he was like Secretary of Defense or something.
He was SecDef for like 2 years. Yeah.
We constantly had to call him by his nickname.
Mad Dog.
Yes.
That's what I've always called him because he was, he was he was a 2-star general when I joined, and he was over First Mardiv and the invasion. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, he Trump made him Secretary of Defense, which is a fucking idiotic move.
Well, he
Trump did something stupid. No,
weird, right? It's crazy.
He declared this national defense strategy that's all about renewed great power competition. So they want to like go back to the Cold War. And
of course.
Yeah, and so but it's all part of like the propaganda campaign to start it, against China and Russia. Well, not start it. We're like 3 years deep at this point.
Let's relive the late 50s, early 60s.
Because that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like whatever, whatever keeps the boomers happy, I suppose. But
Yeah. What is it that Scott Horton calls it? The self-licking ice cream cone?
Yeah.
yes, that's the perfect analogy for it too.
I think one of my
Fucking
favorite
idiots.
things is like turning the Black Sea and the Persian Gulf into an American lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally have the U.S. Coast Guard getting into battles with Iranian cutters in the Strait of Hormuz. It's
Yeah,
fucking
that
It's
is the
supposed to be
most
the
insane
United
thing ever.
States Coast Guard. You know.
You know, the United States is just wherever we want to be. Like,
Did you see that video of Biden giving a speech at the Coast Guard graduation ceremony? And he's basically
yeah, and he
like,
had to tell him to clap.
clap, you fuckers. He didn't say that, but he might as well have.
He
Well,
said they
he-
were like extremely dull or something
Yeah.
like that. Like,
Yeah, one of my
God.
favorite ones was like on his campaign trail. He's meeting with some military, and I only caught like the clip where he just right at the end of his speech he goes, "Now clap for that, you stupid bastards."
That's like American Psycho, where Christian Bale's character is like, yeah, what is that, you stupid fucker? And he's like, yeah, he's hitting the guy with the axe,
Right.
raincoat
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh,
That was one movie I hated because at the end it was like, did he just dream all of this and called his lawyer, or did the lawyer go and clean everything up for him? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, I did a whole episode, like I did a whole deep dive on this fucking show, and I think it's
The scene with the business card about drove me over the edge because I've met guys like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
cardstock that he has and the embossed lettering. I'm like, I'm gonna fast forward through this. I can't take it.
The book is actually like pretty boring. Like I couldn't make it through it.
An Ellis novel is boring, huh?
You
Yeah,
know
most
what
of
the
them.
most boring book I've ever read was, but I have read it twice.
Pet
And-
Cemetery
and, I
by
mean,
Stephen King.
Oh shut
No,
up.
that
Shut your mouth.
that book was boring. The movie was trash, but no.
An
Jordan
entire chapter
Peterson's-
devoted to the painting above the stairs, and even in the movie, they focused on it for 5 minutes.
Yes, yes. Welcome to Stephen King's nightmare.
Yeah. Patrick Zimmer
Jordan
was like, "I'm gonna
Peterson's
kick your
12
ass at
Rules
Children
for
Book."
Life. I read that book and I was like, oh my God. And then I had to read it again because, I mean, I'm not as smart as him, so I'm kind of dumb. It took me another go around.
Thaddeus Russell had a very good take about Jordan Peterson.
What
I
do you
did not
say?
see this. What is it?
This was fun. This was on Brian McWilliams' show. He said, Jordan Peterson writes for beta cooks. Real men know to make their room, know to make their bed in the morning.
Yeah.
They don't need to be told.
I suppose I get that, but it's also not a bad idea to teach men to be men, especially when we live in such a damn chick environment in America now. And I don't mean that as in lady environment. I mean a bunch of these men act like pussies.
I mean,
Boy world.
I'm Generation X. We were talking about the pussification long ago. So,
well, I don't know, man. I remember.
oh, little Johnny's got a peanut allergy. We didn't have that shit growing up.
To me, I was like, just give him peanuts. They'll get over it. Like, they'll be fine.
Rub some dirt on it.
Suddenly, I turn into falling down, and it's like, oh, look at you! Your pills are over there in the golf cart, huh?
You guys ever
Now-
do that thing like where you're like, the shit you pulled off as a kid? Like if anyone did it now, like fuck, they'd probably be in prison or everyone would flip out. Like we used to drag each other behind the pickup truck on a hood that we strapped to that bitch on the snow because it's like whatever. And then if you turn really well, all your friends just go flying. Like,
growing up, we had 3-wheelers. Try to find one of those.
Widowmakers. That's what they were called for a while. Those are fun. We had one of those too. Yamaha 250. It was really dangerous, and we really enjoyed it. But like we'd go shooting. I was like 8 years old, and I'd just go out shooting by myself. Like we'd go shoot prairie dogs. You know what I mean? That was like normal. That was not a thing. Like,
Yeah. So going to high school in Walker, Louisiana, yes, as country as it sounds. Yeah, we had trucks with rifles on the back of them. You know, people take them to school, show the principal. You know.
Yep. Back in the day, he's aging himself, folks. We did the same thing in Utah. Like, you know, I think third day of senior year, I had like 3 fucking rifles in the back window of my pickup when I went to school, and that was that was not a thing. No one even blinked an eye at it. You know what I mean?
Where in Utah?
Monticello.
Okay.
Southeastern Utah.
Yeah.
So, but that wasn't even no one cared. You know what I mean? It was not a thing at all. Like, I had my very first driver's license was a farm license that I got when I was 14.
Yeah, driving tractors. Hello, Raleigh.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't need a license for that. But I got the license because you have to run the pickups to run fuel for the tractors in the fields. And so you have to drive up and down county roads and shit like that. So you go get this license. You're eligible at 13, or you used to be anyway, to get this license, and then you can drive. And like, if a cop pulls you over, you're like, oh, well, it's farm related, so it's fine. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when I took my driver's license test at like 16 or whatever, they're like, you're really good at this. And I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it probably longer than you, stupid.
Yeah, I was half tempted to go buy some like old beat up pickup truck and slap a farm plate on it, because that way I don't have to get it inspected or insurance or anything like that.
Just drive it around, like just choking smoke out the back of it. Like, I do what I want. I'm just a farmer. Leave me alone. Well, I mean, you do live in Louisiana. Maybe you just be like, well, I hunt crocodiles. Leave me alone. Or alligators. Sorry.
Yeah, I've done that once. That was an experience.
Yes, but did you hunt it with a gun or did you hunt it by hand?
We went out on a boat, and I got a 22 rifle and shot it right in the back of its head, where apparently there's a little soft spot, and bullet goes in and alligator dies. So,
and did you eat it?
We did. The hide got sold to an Italian designer so he can make boots out of it.
Yep.
So,
all right. I was actually just
you guys
watching
have
this documentary.
no idea how many millions of dollars are made.
Oh, no, I can imagine. I was actually watching this documentary where they, down in South America, they're not alligators.
Oh yeah, they got crocodiles.
Well, no, that too, but they have this other like version. It's like a mix, and they got the long beaks. I don't know what they're called. But there's this tribe that like basically they don't even have houses. They just like run around. You know what I mean? And they catch these fucking things by hand. Like they just like jump them like as a group, and it's like put this thing down and eat it. Like, I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, yeah, America's the worst place in the history of ever. These motherfuckers literally wrestle these things, and these are small people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, stocky mountain people. Yeah, of course.
That's why it takes like a group of them. They're like, we'll get it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's crazy. They die doing this shit. It's nuts, dude. You're like, what is happening? But you know, I mean, that's one of the fun. That's one of the funniest things to me is like, you know, I imagine both of you have experienced this at least at one point in your life where they're like, oh, America's so terrible. And I'm like, I can take you to places that will make you cry.
Right.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Honduras? Yeah.
I actually have not been to Honduras, but I have been to Venezuela.
Yeah.
I have been to some really shitty places in South America where it is.
I can show you what actual poverty is.
Bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And not just that, Africa. You know, I had to do something in the Congo that we can discuss offline. No, for real, man. Like I can take. When you think like, oh, America's terrible, it's like, okay, I'll take you to countries that will fucking make your grandmother who is dead start to cry.
Right.
Like, that's how bad it is in those places. You know what I mean? So people just need to shut up when it comes to that. Now, that said, yes, we should get rid of our government so America's better. Yeah,
the old economics joke there is like, compared to what? And I was like, yeah, let's tour this neighborhood in Honduras off of the beaten path of the hotel resort that we all stopped in. It was like, no, I don't want to go there. It looks scary. I was like, yeah, that's the point.
Yeah. I ate a guinea pig one time because I watched a documentary. And they said that guinea pigs are a delicacy in Honduras. Now it turns out that's I'm guessing just because they're poor and they have to eat them.
Yes,
but they are actually pretty tasty. Like honestly. But I had this buddy named Pedro or Peter. I called him Hondo because I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And I asked him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, no, they're actually pretty good." And I'm like, "All right." So we went to the pet store and bought a couple, and cooked them up. They actually are pretty decent. You know what I mean? Like they don't taste that bad. That is not the worst thing I've ever eaten. Trust me. So when people are like, "Oh, I don't want to eat a rodent," I'm like, "Well." You've never laid in the desert for 14 days.
Yeah, I told that.
Surprised what you'd eat.
Yeah, I told that to people. I was like, you've never been to the level of starvation where you would eat a rodent.
Yeah.
I'll tell you would never do it.
So
and it's like
we went to the pet store.
Well, yeah, because we were in America then, so I was like, well, where am I going to get a fucking? I got to go to the pet store, like obviously. I'll never forget that woman's face though. It's like, what are you guys going to do with those? And I was like, oh, we're going to eat them as we walked out. And her face was just like, and
in my early 20s, a buddy of mine dared me $100 to go in, purchase a rabbit, and break its neck right there and say, oop, dinner. And
did you do it?
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
$100, the easiest $100 I ever made.
$100 for a $6 rabbit. I'm doing it.
He didn't think I was going to do it, So I was like, dude, I'm extroverted. I will do this. I don't care.
We had a guy in the Marines that, and here's the funny thing: he was from a very affluent family, but he enlisted. He didn't go to the Ivy League and shit. He just enlisted. It drove his parents nuts. But
brave.
To put it in perspective, it's like 2004. This dude's got a cell phone in Iraq, like a satellite phone that his parents paid for, right?
Fucking stupid. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, we're outside the fucking river in Baghdad, and I was like, I'll give you $100 if you jump in that river. And he was like, I'll do it for 50. And I'm like, wow, you're really dumb. And just pushed him.
Yeah, the Tigris and the Euphrates is like highly polluted in Baghdad.
Extremely, dude. They just pour shit in that thing. It doesn't even matter. But he did it. And then he gets out. And he's like, I think there's turds in there.
Oh my God,
dude!
I am literally a quarter of a mile away from the Mississippi River. I'm not jumping in that shit. I'm definitely not jumping in something in Iraq.
Are there leeches there like there are in Vietnam?
No. You don't have. You have camel spiders.
Oh yeah.
Those are fun. They're not actually spiders, so that's a misnomer when people call them camel spiders. They're not actually spiders. They're mites in a sense. But they are massive.
Very, very large.
There was a particular, this is my younger brother's story when he was there. He had a situation in their barracks one night where one of these fucking spiders was literally eating a hole in the dude.
Yeah, nice.
Laying in his rack, and the guy wakes up, freaks out,
of course,
shoots the spider with his .45, also shooting himself multiple times because he's trying to shoot this spider. And I'm like, okay, obviously we should send more people to this shithole.
Fort Benning, Georgia, 1998. We had one guy, he kept waking up and he kept getting all like these little sores on his legs. He couldn't ever figure it out. So finally one day he wakes up and he knocks a spider away from him. And then he realizes it's a brown recluse. The mattress that the U.S. Army had purchased was filled with them.
Oh my God.
That guy had spider bites all over him. And the one thing about brown recluses, they cause necrosis.
Yeah,
so all of that tissue dies right there.
Flesh rotting.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
So we called him Spider-Man. Yeah. He got some Spider-Man.
That's awesome. One of the barracks that we had to stay in at Pendleton was fucking the state had condemned it, right? And so we found out, and I was like, oh, okay. So like, and we were living in it, right? It was like, oh, it's condemned, and I'm like, well, why? And they're like, mold or something, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I'm like, when did it get condemned? And they're like 8 years ago. I'm like, cool.
Your tax dollars at work.
So they really obviously, jumped in fixing that problem. Anyway, Patrick, you're not talking. Talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just listening.
You're not supposed to listen to a podcast when you're on the podcast.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah, you're not live studio audience. That's just ridiculous for a podcast.
Well, yeah. I wasn't in the military. I don't know if you had said that, but I'm listening. No.
I knew Rebel was. I didn't know about you for sure. But.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I found primers today. I bought primers today for the first time in months.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
Dude, they're gonna be where do you live?
Don't say that shit out loud.
I found it on the internet, so it's not like a secret. I can send you a link.
That's worth your weight in gold. Go for
honestly.
it.
Okay, so tell me if I overpaid, but I paid $170 for 1,000.
Yeah.
Did I overpay?
You know what? I don't know that you can actually overpay right now.
Yeah, no. You could probably turn around and sell those for 200. So.
It's supply and demand. Yeah. You can't be an anarchist or libertarian and be like, "Oh, I overpaid."
You could sell 200.
Requested.
You could sell 200 and basically make $1 per primer. So just sell 200 of them.
Actually, you could probably. Well, I mean, within the law, YouTube.
For legal reasons, we are joking.
For legal reasons,
jokes,
it was we're just messing.
Hold on,
man. If BBW Thigh Tickler didn't get me kicked off last night, I think we're probably safe.
Oh, Quincy is a fucking trip. So
Quincy was like, I was like, oh shit, we're 45 seconds in. I'm like, well, it's been nice knowing you.
Yeah. I love that black man to death, but I mean, he's got some stories.
So hold up though. Did I overpay for right now, or did I overpay for like regular time? I mean, if it was 2 years ago, then way overpaid. I could get 100 for $5. I mean, at one point.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. 2 years ago, you way overpaid.
Well, yeah.
But for now, when it's you get what you get and you pay what you pay because that's your only fucking option. Then what are you gonna do? Like, if I'm over here, right? I raise
for an SKS.
Yeah. I raise pigs and I raise chickens and shit, right? Our economy is absolutely going to collapse. Like, this is going to happen. What do you think when the neighbor comes and they say, hey, man, I've got like all this, I'll give you $5. I'll be like, eat my dick. Like, no. First of all, I don't want your dollars, but I'll take a pound of coffee beans for, a pound of pork. Did they overpay? Of course they did. Pork's worth less than coffee beans. But can I get them to do it? Probably.
Oh, God damn it. I just fucking found primers for cheaper than I paid. Fuck.
Good job, buddy. Good job.
But hey,
look at the bright side.
At
least you're getting primers and shit. So.
Yeah.
It was an impulse buy. God damn it. I always do this. I always fucking like...
See, that obviously means the lawyer makes too much money.
Yep.
That he doesn't shop around.
All that disposable income sees the first thing. It's like, oh yes, I must acquire this.
Hey, you're a lawyer. What's your outlook on all the crypto?
I love it.
That's all on sale right now.
It is on sale right now.
How does this guy run a podcast?
I bought the
You ask him a question, he goes, "That's great."
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm trying to buy cartridges right now. So.
Oh, look at this! Lake City has breasts that only I can get to.
I'll tell you what. You should ask Robert and Daniel from Actual Anarchy. I always get on their show and they give me shit for talking too much.
Huh. Well, that's not an issue we're having. So,
Yeah.
So what do you mean about crypto though? I mean,
no, it is from the legal side of it. People are getting concerned that the Treasury or Congress is going to start trying to fuck with it. I don't personally think they can actually do much about any of it. I will say this, not financial advice, obviously, for legal reasons. Bitcoin's on sale, bitches.
yeah.
It's like in a 2-for-1 right now.
Right.
It's on sale. So, just
Yeah.
saying.
It may dip down to as low as 20,000.
Ethereum's on sale too.
Yeah. But I will say this, R, you can't really tell if you've got it or not. That's a total private coin. So
yeah.
Or you could take everything and put it on a paper wallet.
Yep.
Don't
tattoo that to your body. Just OPSEC people.
The real mark of the beast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tattoo my Bitcoin wallet on the bottom of my nutsack. Enjoy looking for it, pussies.
I would.
Yeah, it's like me walking around the office and I stroll by one of the designer and his seed phrase is right there on a notebook. I was like, dude, I know what that is. Don't. Throw a couple extra words on there or something. Just
people are dumb.
Yeah.
Like, what was that where they're like, oh, a person is smart, people are dumb. I'm like, no, even a person is dumb. It doesn't matter. Like, there's no changing this game. Like, everyone's stupid. That's just how it works.
Because we're humans and humans are dumb. So
yes, that is very true. Dumb. Anyway, shit. All right, well, Patrick, it's your turn. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean,
now that he's over here playing like Jingo or fucking Tetris or some shit. Who knows what he's
I'm trying to look at the reflection in the eyeglasses. Is that Angry Birds?
It's really.
He's over there like, I bet I can get it this time.
So you're not going to Childerberg?
Me?
No. I'm so excited about Childerberg. It's not
same here.
Funny.
Same here, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm so fucking busy, dude, that I can't go to Porkfest. I can't go to Childerberg. I don't have like shit until like almost November where I'm gonna actually be able to have time to go and do shit.
Yeah. I got a kid on the way, so this is like my final hurrah before then.
Ah, well, congrats again.
Yeah.
So, did you have a male
his
first
dick
class
works.
or?
Woo!
No? Oh, okay. So,
did I have what?
Second day? Did you have a mailed first class or is it second day air? Like,
yeah. The primers are my kid.
Well, you pay for next day shipping for that.
You know, we could say this. Maybe his dick works, or someone's does.
Well, I'm pretty sure the first one kind of looks like me, so I like to think he's mine.
That doesn't mean that much.
He's up there freaking screaming his head off right now, I think. There was like an apocalyptic meltdown before I came on.
Oh yeah, those are always fun.
Yeah.
I love those. Yes, and in the parenting world, we call those extinction events.
Yeah,
because they know that this is the last thing that they can do before I have to now go to bed.
Yes. So they just have a meltdown, and you're like, They go. One of the worst terms that I've learned recently about the nuclear field is they'll say like, "Oh, it's going critical." And I mean, that sounds fucking terrifying, right? And all that actually means is that it's actually like operating perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what? You guys need to come up with a better goddamn term. Like,
Hollywood lied to me again. Damn you.
You're like, oh, it's going critical. I mean, most people's heads are like, uh-oh.
That's like
no way this ends good.
When you're in with the OBGYN and they're doing their thing and they're looking at your spouse and they're like, oh, interesting. Then you're like, nope,
no,
bad. Oh, fucking interesting. That hasn't happened yet, but
now it's like when I had a hernia, the doctor was sitting there, turn your head, cough, and bingo. Wait, what's bingo?
Great.
What's bingo? I don't like bingo. What does that mean? That's funny. none of my kids. Well, my first two children, the OB was hilarious, honestly. Like, and we used to just fuck with each other, which was not good for their mother, obviously. Because,
I mean, kind of in a way, you're Eskimo bros. Just
we both had a part to play in that. Yeah, that's fucked up. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Me and
You're
my
welcome for my service.
OBGYN are Eskimo bros. That shit's going on Twitter soon. Thanks, bud.
Oh, you're welcome.
But then my youngest daughter, that OB was like boring as shit. I was like,
Oh.
you're not fun. Like, be fun. And he's like,
Tell a
this is
joke.
very serious thing. And I'm like, no, it's not. Semen went in, baby comes out. This is how this works. There's nothing serious.
Been doing this shit for thousands and millions of years. Come on.
Yeah, like, come on. You're over here, like, talking about Darwin and all this nonsense. This shit's been going on for millennia. Like, fucking, you know how this works?
Joke about it.
Just make some fun. My older brother has delivered, like, his last 5 kids.
Damn.
Personally delivered.
That's crazy.
So he's Eskimo Brothers with himself, I suppose?
No. He hasn't been cucked by the OB. So
our OB is pretty nice, but like almost every time we go in, I just wait for him to talk about like the COVID-19 vaccine.
Oh,
why?
I don't know why
you should get it.
I should get it, or my wife should get it.
No, you should totally go get it. Why not?
Yeah.
Everyone should get it. The baby should get it as soon as it comes out. It's fine.
If you vaccinate them in the womb, then that's.
I mean, they just suck the boogers out right in the get-go. They wipe the blood off the face and then just give it a shot right in the neck. Like, let's just do
right
this
in the neck.
I mean, why not? Like, you know.
Yeah, because that won't be held in the back of their subconscious forever.
Now, I took like this. So I took this deep dive on the issue when my first son was born. One of the first things they do is prick their heel and they do the blood spot for the test things.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got convinced that they are keeping all of those somewhere and they have like a biometric DNA database for everyone.
I was in the Army. I'm very sure they have my DNA on file somewhere. So.
Yeah.
They absolutely have your DNA on file. Like 100%. Now, as far as Patrick's baby, not so sure. But
yeah, so I even got like
I mean, he's probably right. Also, the Earth is flat and aliens are real and they live among us. So
well, I'll tell you
all
what,
these things are real.
there was a fuss when I tried to not get them to do that. Like I had a nurse tell me that there was a mandatory CPS referral if we refused to have that done.
I would have told her to do it. Fuck you.
Yeah. So I looked at the law. And there's like a religious exemption for it. You can apply for that.
Wait, you have to apply for it? Okay. It's also, I find it strange that a lawyer actually looked at the law.
Actually, I have to remind myself to look at the law.
Not just winging it out there.
Yeah. It's like
that's kind of what I do. I just wing it.
I'm trying to figure something out, and then I look at it, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I should look at the statute.
Hey, how has this case been adjudicated before? I mean,
yeah. Wait, how do I what are the steps I have to do to like file this motion? Oh yeah, I should look at the fucking law.
Never would have thought about that.
Right on. Guys, I'm going to take just a real quick break. You guys keep talking for just a minute. Maybe you can get him to actually start talking about something important or interesting. Maybe not.
I'm going to start talking about something interesting, and then you're going to wait for me to stop talking.
Right.
One would hope.
It's either that or he's going to come back and we're both have been quiet the whole time and just staring at the camera.
Just dead air.
I mean, like, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I would be okay with that because I think it'd be hilarious. So just like...
Yeah. He told us to wait a minute.
All right, guys. Talk about something interesting. The Earth is not flat. Explain why, Patrick.
Okay, well, I think it is flat.
Oh no.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm in
bro,
civil engineering. We have to account for the curvature of the Earth. Oh, Jesus
are
Christ.
you driving to Childerberg then?
Yes, I am driving to Childerberg. I am
Okay,
going
when
to
are
be. Yeah, I'm going to be there Friday.
Okay.
Going to stay the night in Bastrop, and Saturday morning I got to pick up a somebody else at the airport, and then I'll drive into the campground, and then
Right
from
on.
there we'll go over to the distillery. Hopefully they'll have really good bourbon.
Right
So,
on.
I've heard good things. So Iron Wolf, you're on notice.
I am so I'm flying in Friday night, and then I'm gonna. I don't know if do you know Nick Ashley from The Individualist? He's in our
Yes,
group, right?
yes, yeah. It's really fun when people want to make fun of the stereotypical Jew voice, and everybody comes up with Eddie Deason from the 1980s for some reason. That's we've all got to sound like this, and oh my gosh, yeah.
Wait, how does that fit in with Nick? Is he Jewish?
Oh yeah, he's hella Jewish.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
I thought that at some point he was like man of questionable ethnic background.
Yeah, that was that for a little bit. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well,
And
then
he used his little picture from the debate with Ben Burgess, where he got to ask a question. We've been using that all over the place too. So,
do you know who else is Jewish? Is Keith Knight.
Keith Knight is a Jew?
Yeah. I didn't know that. I've known the guy for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, I think I was listening to an episode of his where he kind of dropped that, and I was like, wait, he is? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that doesn't really matter, but you know.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, somebody had posted something to one of our mutuals today. It was about Christianity being greater than Catholicism, and just someone thought that's like saying steak is better than meat. You know, it's like. and I put up there. I was like, I'm a deist. I have no God in that fight. So.
Someone said, someone said something about the flying spaghetti monster.
Too. Oh yeah. Flying Pastafarians. Yeah, I gotta love those. Yeah. Every now and then I'll see one of those little decals on the back of a car, and I'm like, look at you being all novel and everything. Yeah. You're old and you watch NCIS on repeat, don't you? Yeah. Okay.
Isn't NCIS like the most popular show on television?
Yes. Just go ask your aunt. She's probably watching it right now.
Well, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist or anything.
Hold on. Do we have to go get our monogrammed tinfoil hats?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got to dig in a box around here.
I got to go dig in a box. I love it.
A box. I was asking, so I interviewed somebody last night, and I was asking if I had like a noticeable Wisconsin accent.
You do a little bit. Yeah.
Do I? Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool with me. I'm proud of that.
As for myself, I practice non-regional diction, so I can sound like whatever you want me to be. Do you need me to be West Texas? I can do West Texas. All right.
Do the transatlantic. You know what I'm talking about? The broadcaster.
Oh yes, the transatlantic, where you've got to over emphasis on the R's. Walter, come here, please. Yeah. Ugh.
That's great.
Yeah, there are some bad accents out there, and like transatlantic, since it's fake, anyways, you're just putting on airs. It's the worst.
I'm trying to decide. So, what gun do I want to buy next?
What's going to be popular? What's going to be popular?
I kind of wanted to get like a 380 Beretta or something because I got
just something weird. Okay,
yeah.
I got you. A Bobcat.
Yeah,
little 25 auto with pro handles.
I just want, not that eclectic. I just have a thing for surplus right now. I want all the surplus.
Yes.
Or one of those Tokarev, is it? Or
Tokarev, yes.
Tokarev, yeah.
The comrade Tokarev. 7.62 millimeter. Yeah.
Do you have like surplus stuff, or I know we kind of talked about this last time, but
I have a old Spanish Mauser that was just given to me, and I understand why it was given to me. That damn rifle patterns like a shotgun at 25 yards. It's horrible. It's shot out.
Shit.
And so I keep joking. I was like, I'm just gonna make this a project gun where I'm just gonna rechamber it in 9mm and put a suppressor on it.
I was at a gun show like the other week, and there was, I don't know, like a 18.
Oh yeah, baby. You went to the gun show, huh?
I went to the gun show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found like a late 1800s German Mauser. I think it was late 1800s, but the rifling was all gone. I mean,
Yeah,
it would have been a project, but it was cheap enough to dick around with.
Yeah, I mean, the only real expense is just taking it to a gunsmith to have them rebarrel it,
Yeah.
and then make sure that it's actually okay to shoot. You know?
Yeah. We were talking about overpaying, or you mentioned something about overpaying for an SKS.
Yes.
Did I tell you? I think I paid like $350 for an SKS.
Yeah. I have to do the old man back in my day. Yeah, it was like $100 at the pawn shop.
I know.
And they would just go to a garbage can, a literal garbage can. It's like, Aaron, just pick out which one you want.
Mine came, I mean, it was gooped in Cosmoline. So
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
that's a whole project by itself. That's like 3 days worth of solvents and setting it out in the sun and everything else.
So fun though.
Yes.
Like, I mean, worth every penny of it.
Yeah. It's fun gun. Especially if you find the Chinese paratrooper model that takes the AK mags.
Oh, I didn't get that. I got that. It was a Chinese one with all matching serial numbers from that one.
Oh, yeah, you should have held on to that one.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome then. Yeah,
it's over there, but yeah,
it's over
garbage gun.
Show and tell.
Garbage gun.
It fucking worked. It was the only thing communists produced that worked, and leftists hate it.
That's true. Well, actually, I don't know.
I mean, they stole a
lefties
German
actually
design,
really like guns for the most part, in my opinion. The ones I've met, anyway.
Commies, yeah.
Yeah, commies love guns. I'm like, how are you supposed to overtake an environment without them?
Yeah, so that's one of the fun things to post under the gun grabbers is just that picture of Marx with his little quote about not stripping the bourgeoisie, not stripping the worker of the means of defense. Yeah.
Yeah. Keep all your guns. Keep all your ammo. Fuck them. Fight them if you have to. Yeah, for sure. So, did you debunk flat Earth, even though you said it was real?
Yes, I work in civil engineering. We have to account for the curvature of Earth. So it's debunked already.
It's weird. I had to do that as a sniper. It was odd.
I think that's a psyop. I think
that's just an op. Yeah. The Coriolis effect isn't a thing.
Yeah. The fact that if you're like 1.5 miles away, like you don't have to take that into account. That's all just made up.
Yeah. Now, actually, Arkin Rose posted a really good one where he like brought out like paper models and everything. It was really fun.
Nice.
You could just tell it's like the whole time he just wants to scream, "You are a fucking idiot."
I want to scream that pretty much every day.
Yeah. But that's why I give him the lovable nickname Flurfers. So
well, I'm sorry, what?
Flat Earthers. I call them Flurfers. Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were like pulling a Tim Pool like moment where it's like, well, I'll just call him Florbo. It'll be fine. Patrick's favorite podcaster is live right now, so there's that. That's going on.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, dude. Monday through Friday, except for when they don't want to.
He makes me so fucking mad.
Yeah, as I was telling Skids, I was like, he is the living embodiment of the man who just started paying attention. Have you ever seen that meme?
Tim Pool.
Yeah. I think this government's not up to any good.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think they might not be telling us the truth.
Yeah.
All it took was a year of like, hey, you're not allowed to leave your house, or like, whatever.
Maybe Luke Rudowski is like kind of rubbing off on him a little bit. I don't know.
I was so disappointed with Luke pushing the China stuff. Not to talk about the
yeah.
You love the China stuff. That's your thing.
He released an entire episode on it. It was fantastic. So.
Yeah. I don't know. And then he pushed that study for the New Lines Institute that was just total bullshit. That had fucking Adrian Zenz as a contributor. Anyways, so yeah. That made me so mad. So mad. And then no one. So I wonder how that really works. Like, okay, what really probably happened is that somebody looked into, like, Tim Pool wants to feel good about himself and speak out against atrocities, and he just didn't fact check something and started pushing this narrative. Or conspiratorial me is thinking that someone contacted him and said, hey, you're going to have China Uncensored on your show. Yeah. And you're going to fucking talk about the Uyghur genocide. Not to mention the Yemen issue. I mean, How many times has he talked about Yemen versus having China uncensored on twice for 3 hours at a time?
And Yemen is legitimately the most worst thing that's going on right now. So
And we can do something about it.
yes.
The most worst thing.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yemen's one of those things that irritates me primarily from the lefty side of Twitter, because I'm like, you understand there are like fucking legitimate slave trade is actually operating daily. I mean, these people are being sold like cattle. This is fucking happening every single day. And it's like, you know what I mean? But instead we get dumb shit headlines like, oh, well, we can't pull out of Afghanistan because what about women's rights? I'm like, what about go fuck yourself? What about if an asteroid hits my car tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like, why are you talking about nonsense? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, I hate these people. They all lie.
Like the whole thing about this sudden switch from the CIA to being like, I don't know, super
woke.
The CIA is great now. Obviously, they're all diverse and they care about equity.
And they have generalized anxiety disorder.
Yeah, that was like when I was watching that one.
I didn't even know what that meant. I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
I was like,
I don't know
okay.
what that means.
She was like checking all the boxes. I'm black. I'm lesbian. I was like, okay, check. I have generalized anxiety disorder. I was like, oh, double check.
I'm also a single mother. It's
I'm a single
you're not
mother.
a very good lesbian.
Yeah.
Like, you took the dick.
Or a turkey baster. We have precedents for that. Thank you, Melissa Etheridge. Yeah. There goes Eric doing jokes from the 1990s.
You don't want to know how old I was in the 1990s.
13.
I was a teenager.
I don't know. Looking at Patrick, he was probably like 6.
Yes.
He's out there being harassed by cops for his lemonade stand.
Yeah.
I was 6 in 99.
You were 6 in 99.
Yeah.
I was 20.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're just a baby.
Yeah.
I was 20.
20.
Nice. Yeah.
I was already out of high school. I was working a real job.
2 days after I got out of high school, they shipped my ass off to NCRD. So,
I must have got a break. It was 3 days for me until I was on board my first airplane ride to Atlanta, Georgia, then to Columbus.
Wait, you got to take an airplane?
I got to take an airplane,
dude. They put me on a bus, Greyhound. Not even kidding.
Yeah, it was.
You know how long it takes to get from fucking Utah to San Diego, California on a Greyhound bus?
Oh, like 30 hours.
It's like, fuck, dude.
We're going to stop here, and then we're going to stop here.
On the upside, there's a place to piss on the bus, so there's that, you know. And they'll stop fucking every single town and be like, we'll let this one person off, no one gets on, and then the next stop, one person or 2 people get on, no one gets off. You're like, what the fuck is happening?
It's like Greyhound, fix your shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah, just send me a Tesla, bro.
Yeah, no, I got to take the bus from the Atlanta airport down to Columbus, Georgia. So
fun. But then you at least got to get on an airplane.
Yes, I did get on an airplane. Yeah.
So there's that, you know. Airplanes suck, by the way.
And then we got to go to reception station. Let's make it sound fun. We're having a reception.
Yeah.
Not at 2:30 in the morning. No, we're not. No.
I have to say that, like, you guys are going to set me straight on this, but even though, like, I've been a voluntarist, you know, for quite some time now, I have to admit I have been tempted to think about joining the military.
Oh,
good God, why?
Don't do that shit.
I know, it's fucking stupid, right?
Yeah, highly stupid.
I just want to shoot stuff, and that's how they get you.
You can just shoot stuff without joining the military. You're allowed to just shoot shit. It's fine.
I don't want to pay for it.
Yeah. You want to do somebody else? You want to do somebody else's ammo?
Make friends that will just let you shoot their guns in. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we got Citizen Hush over there in Austin. He's, you know, I don't know if he's going to give us his ammo, but
yeah, just find buddies that'll let you shoot off their ammo, and then you're good.
That's how they get you, though. you know, I want skills, man.
Yeah. Hey, teenager who's been born in the 1970s.
What do you
and
mean
lived in the
skills?
1980s.
We
Yeah.
got to back up. What do you mean skills?
Nunchuck skills, obviously.
No.
I mean,
No,
good
they
luck
never did
in the
that.
military, and
Yeah, never
also
did
good luck in fucking learning how to shoot in the military because they suck at that too.
No,
Like,
it's basically a production line. Get in there. Get in there.
yeah.
It'd be-
It's an interesting situation. Like Shane Hazel and I were discussing this, and it's like, you know, one of the first things, you know, I don't know how it went with Eric here, but when you go into basic for the Marine Corps, they go, everything you know about shooting, forget it.
Yeah.
The problem is that I was a fucking better shooter than the guys that were supposed to be teaching me.
I had a similar experience. So like drill sergeant, he's like, okay, well, you're too good at this. So now I have to introduce like distractions. So he'd sit there and throw brass at my helmet the whole time. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go home and fuck your sister. I was like, I ain't got a sister, drill sergeant. Yeah.
That's actually helpful when they try to fuck with you in a way, because it's like, oh, okay. Like, you know, that actually does help you long-term, but
yeah, they got that
it wasn't very long before they're like,
force a
okay,
misfire.
you're actually really good at this. So why don't you come with us and do this whole other job that you weren't supposed to do, like that you never agreed to, but now that's what you're going to do. Oh, by the way, we fucking own you because you signed that your life away to us. So you now do what we say you do. You know what I mean?
See, I wasn't going to be a grunt. I had a window to be in JAG.
Yeah, I did the grunt thing. So,
what do you think the odds are, Eric, that JAG teaches Patrick how to shoot anything other than a goddamn rubber band?
Hey, I'll tell you what. I know how fucking stupid it is.
Very, very, very minute. Very minute. And then you're dealing with
He's gonna be over there with his little rolled up paper football, like, come on, guys, I'm ready.
You move the goal. You move the goal. Yeah.
How dare you move your thumb, you cheating bitch?
You breathed on it. You breathed on it.
And then he's in there like, well, this fucking.
Now he would have one.
Shit.
He would have one look at the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Is like, well, this is all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you cheat on your wife, you can go to jail. What?
Generally, if you cheat on your husband, you go to jail. But sure,
yeah,
fair enough. Like, you know, one thing the military has right is women are put in their place.
Wait, if I get a tattoo, I can get fined $400.
Yes.
Wait. So going back to this whole like CIA, Army, military wokeism shit.
Oh God,
Dave Smith said something great about how like. Yeah, because the greatest thing for women empowerment is to go into the military and get gang raped. Like,
yeah. There was a whole thing in the Navy called tailhook. Just look it up. I'll wait.
I'm gonna do that right now.
He's looking it up. Shit.
Fort Leonard Wood, Kansas has like the highest rate of sexual assaults of anything. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I even went into my I did a private tab.
It was like a famous thing. Yeah, you'd probably find mainstream news on it. So
that's because people are disgusting. Like, you know, but this idea that like, oh, they joined the service, they're heroes. I'm like, you're an idiot. You don't fucking know what you're talking about. Like, do you know how many people I served with that I was like, wow.
Yeah, there's that line in Call of Duty goes, how did this Muppet make it past selection? You know, so I was like, yeah. That's a common question.
Yeah. Oh, man. I remember being, when you're running through basic or whatever, and these guys are fucking just suck. You know what I mean? And you all get punished for them sucking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
we had the special privilege. One of the guys was the son of a command sergeant major.
Oh, that must have been fun for you guys.
Oh, yes. And he, had picture of daddy up in his locker and oh my God. So, he got a blanket party within like the first couple of days.
Nice. Luckily, YouTube doesn't even know what that means. Yeah, we never had to blanket party anyone, so that's good. Like,
Well,
no
yeah,
soap
yeah.
and socks.
I was gonna
We
say,
got lucky. Like, my entire training class was actually, well, pretty good. I mean, they were also fucking every one of them was either from like Kansas to like Utah. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So right in that strip. So they were already all a bunch of goddamn farm boys or rig boys or whatever. They were like,
yeah, the recruiters they get a manual that's about that thick, and it teaches them how to lie to all those kids outside of the cities.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's one of the funniest things to me is that I see from these major cities or whatever, especially with all this woke nonsense they're pushing on the military. And they're like, well, we got to get rid of all these extremists. And I'm like, you people are going to get fucking destroyed. Like,
man, wait until you guys figure out what fragging is. Oh, my gosh.
So, Skids, have you heard of the Marine Corps' restructuring plan called Force Design 2030?
Oh, that just sounds like a bureaucratic nightmare.
That sounds fucking terrible. And no, I have not.
It's like this whole restructuring plan for better countering China. Like, so, I mean, does it to you guys, do you think that we might actually get out of Afghanistan if it means that they just redeploy everyone to insert Russia and China?
No.
And the thing that stands out to me is that like Afghanistan is so crucial for countering China. Like the reason for being there is
we have to hold Afghanistan to counter China. And so, no, we're not leaving fucking Afghanistan. And we never were going to leave Afghanistan.
Right.
Trump may have actually tried to push that. I'm not going to say for sure he would have. Basically what I mean by that is I don't know that the powers that be, because the president is fucking useless, would have let him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, it even came out like
Trump
one of his
was legitimate that he wanted out. I just don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah, I mean, they had one of his
We can't leave
aides.
Afghanistan. If we leave Afghanistan, dude, we're in fucking war with China in like 6 months.
Yeah, one of his aides, I mean, he even was bragging that he was lying to Trump about, troop redeployments and everything. He was like, yeah, I said there was 2,000 troops gone, but, we actually put 500 more there.
That was over Syria.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, we're not getting out of fucking Afghanistan. We're not getting out anytime soon. We are going to wind up in a actual straight up hot war with China in the next 2 years.
I think so. Well,
it's going to be over Taiwan.
That's fucking, it is. It's going to be over. Eric's got this thing in the bag. It's going to be over. China is going to invade Taiwan, and America is going to have no other option because of dumb shit contracts that we have signed that we're going to have to carpet bomb the shit out of China. And we're going to set off a war that will make World War II look like whoopsie. You know what I mean? It's going to be fucking brutal. There's no way around it, unfortunately, because we have a bunch of shitbag politicians that run this nation. Now, if you had people with brains, that had seen it, been there, also some guys, take the Scott Hortons or the Pete Quinones, these guys that maybe they haven't been there, but they understand what the fuck is happening. If we were able to talk to these guys and get these motherfuckers up there talking about what's going on, whatever, get the Shane Hazels of the world that have seen what these fucking idiots do when you give them this power, maybe we could avoid this. China does not want a war with America any more than I want a war with China. China is the largest goddamn military force on the face of the planet right now. They may not be the most dangerous, but they're damn sure the biggest. And the most dangerous is very rapidly becoming a bunch of goddamn little cucks that worry too much about diversity and not enough about, are you a badass or not? We are fucked if we go to war with China right now.
Yeah. Not going to be good.
Well, explain to me, because you said that if we pull out of Afghanistan, we'd be at war with China in 2 weeks, right? What do you mean by that?
2 years.
2 years. Why? I just want
to. Afghanistan. Okay. So everything militarily is strategic. Everything is, where do you have the most control, right? The only thing that actually holds China at bay, it's not America, it's Russia. if we pull out of Afghanistan, Russia will absolutely take Afghanistan, or they'll at least attempt it to occupy and hold that particular strategic area that currently America holds. China will not let that happen. They will not let that happen. Not again. You know what I mean? That China runs everything in a century model, and they're not going to let Russia take back that particular strategic element. So we as Americans, in all honesty, we're actually strategically, from the murder cult's perspective, better off to stay in Afghanistan, which is, I mean, technically, it's kind of true. You know what I mean? If we were to leave, Russia's going to try to push. That means China's going to try to push. That means these motherfuckers are going to go to war, and America's going to be this moron fucking chimpanzee stuck between two 800-pound gorillas about to go to goddamn nuclear conflict over a piece of shit little desert shithole that doesn't mean anything, except for the fact that it's so strategically positioned in the Middle East that there's nothing we can fucking do.
Do you think that Russia would be stupid enough to go into Afghanistan again?
Yes, I do. 100%.
They're not as stupid as we are, though.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're 100% just as stupid.
It would, for the Russians, it would be a show of force, just to show that they could do it.
Exactly. And that's why they're just as stupid as we are. They would do it just to prove they could do it.
Yeah, and pull out for Afghanistan would just mean that Tajikistan and Azerbaijan would then have.
Azerbaijan is fucking. They're done. It's game set match in that situation. China would immediately invade in that situation. And it's not just there. Palestine becomes an issue in that situation. Now, fucking forget Hamas and forget Israel in this situation, because if America pulls out of Afghanistan, which we obviously should, don't get me wrong, I'm not making the argument that we shouldn't.
Yeah, I get it.
Never should have been there in the first place, but
Right. But the problem is that Russia will immediately try to fill that power vacuum. And yes, they are absolutely that stupid to do that.
Cobalt and lithium in their hills.
Exactly. And with cobalt and lithium, game, set, match. Russia's going to go for it. China's going to get pissed. China's going to take Palestine, and the whole fucking Middle East will erupt into a nightmare situation that there is no fucking way America can stop it. Not even through military force. It's not possible. We can't. So honestly, strangely enough, it's actually better for America to just stay in Afghanistan right now, because it holds both of them at bay. Now, we have to figure out how to get the hell out of all these conflicts. But the only way to do that is to work with Russia.
Yeah, and work with China, and nobody wants to do that. So
no, because you can't, because you got the Republicans over here going, well, China's the enemy of everything, and you got Democrats like Russia's the spooky, scary dirt ball monster under the bed, and it's like, you people are fucking idiots. Like, we need to be, say whatever you want about Tulsi Gabbard. She understood, and say this about Trump too. He understood. You have to talk to these people,
right?
Because we cannot have military conflict around the goddamn planet that's going to eventually kill billions of people if we continue down the same path. But Raytheon and Honeywell and all these fucks that control our government don't care. They're like, we're going to sell a bunch of bombs. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And by the way, for any of these people listening to this, America is not goddamn nearly as secure as you think it is from a fucking airstrike. We're not. That is not real. That's made up nonsense. We can absolutely get airstrike. Yes, there are nations that, if necessary, will use a nuclear weapon. So stop being fucking stupid and tell your politicians to grow a goddamn spine and talk to the bad ones. Yeah. You know what I mean? Stop it. We're going to get killed if we don't.
Yeah, we had a saying in the Army, it's a shit soup sandwich and we're all going to have to take a bite.
Exactly. 100%, dude. It's we are in a weird situation, and Old in Chief is probably the worst possible guy to be at the helm of this nightmare that we're about to walk into.
No, it only looks like he's in the helm. He's got a driver right next to him. That's actually
for sure. But that's not the point. The point is right. That Old in Chief is the one. Who does China see? They see Old in Chief.
Yeah.
You know, who does Russia see? Vladimir Putin's out there going, I'll debate you right now live as long as there's not a delay. Right?
Right.
Why are they doing that?
Yeah, because they know. Because
they know this douche can't do dick, and they know it. And so, man, we're in a fucking. This is probably. People talk about the Cold War. They talk about, you know, all this shit or whatever. It has never been as dangerous as it is right now for the entire globe. I don't just mean America. I mean the entire globe is in super danger.
Yep.
And that is problematic to me because not many things that ever drive me back into military service. And one of the only things that ever would is if I felt like this country was going to get like invaded, which is possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Under these current circumstances, that's possible. Now, would I do it for the Marine Corps? No. Would I do it with Eric and Shane and my boys and we set up a militia? Fucking A, right. You know?
Yes.
It'd be like, whatever, dude, this is our beach. Come get it, pussies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have no idea when a bunch of coon asses and rednecks get a wild hair up their ass. So.
If we can hunt down a possum, like, we can fucking take out a chink. Like, that's for sure.
You guys have no idea how bad we would wreck shop. So
it's one of the things that a buddy of mine told me is that he actually saw some video that I have that I think I can actually share now. I think it's been declassified, but he was like, you people are fucking terrifying. And I'm like, well, yeah, dude, that's like,
it was the job. Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to be. Like, you know, but, no, I'm legit worried, but I'm not actually, I'm worried about other shit than that too. Like, I'm straight up worried about our economy is in a fucking nightmare. Like, you know what I mean? That people don't understand how bad it is right now. Like, because they're not being told and people are sheep, you know? So they're like,
well, I mean,
whoever tells me what, that's what's important.
Yeah. Product of government education for 12 years. So don't know dick about dick. True. And, you know, when you have to sit there and explain it to them, and the moment you say the word economics, they, you know, their eyes start rolling up. And
I don't know what I mean.
I was told not to talk about this, religion or politics.
Yeah, but we are actually in a fucking disaster situation that, so in the easiest way to describe it, as far as like the way I look at it is, and maybe you guys have heard me say this before, but when they first passed out their very first plague checks, right? And they were like, oh, well, you got to shut this economy down 15 days. We're gonna give you all this plague money, right?
Yeah.
I told my wife, I was like, this plague money is not buying a flat screen. This plague money is buying food. Yeah. And I meant that. And I didn't mean go to the grocery store and buy food. I meant go and get chickens, get pigs, we're going to set up a garden. We're going to, you know, plague money this thing correctly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And the problem is that a lot of people didn't understand what was coming, you know, because first of all, if the government ever says we're going to do this for this like temporary time, no, they're not.
No, that's
like
nothing more permanent than a temporary government program. Right?
Exactly. And so, but what I mean by it is that we are in a situation now where the U.S. government stopped the economy. They stopped it just overnight. And they say, well, no, but like, you know, the grocery stores and shit stayed open. Sure. Here's the problem. Everything in between got fucked with, right? If you just stop a freight train, let's say you can make the actual fucking engine just stop, which is what they did. The cars behind it don't stop, you idiots.
Right. Yeah, they keep moving forward.
Yeah, and they did. And now they're trying to get the freight train running, and they can't.
Right.
Everything's coming apart at the seams. People are like, "Oh, everything's fine." I'm like, "No, there's not. It's not fucking fine, you idiots. There are food shortages all over the place now. Like, you're not going to find that on CNN and Fox News and shit, but it's happening, and it's fucking everywhere. You go around my town where I live right now, there are fucking help wanted signs more than I've ever seen in my entire life.
All over.
No
the
one
place.
will go to work.
No,
You
because
know
they're
what I
being
mean?
paid to sit at home.
Well, they're being paid to sit at home, and some of them are just straight up terrified because they've been brainwashed for a year that if they go to work, they're going to die.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what
I mean, even if they don't think that the virus is anything, they're getting paid more to stay home than they would if they had to go to a job.
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
they're getting $16 an hour to just sit on their ass, you know. So we just spent a year checking out this idea of UBI. Yeah, it doesn't work, idiots. Like, stop it. No, but my biggest concern, honestly, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest here, it's not China, it's not Russia, it's not any of this fucking nonsense that the government tries to distract us with. It is the economic collapse that is coming that's going to make the Great Depression look like a goddamn joke.
Yep.
It's going to be fucking disastrous. And, you know, it's not just America. Russia's going to feel it. China's going to feel it. The entire globe is going to feel the exact same thing. That's one of the upsides of what up, Nick? That's one of the upsides of America being so involved around the globe, is that when we collapse, they all collapse with us.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Everything is interconnected, and a lot more than you think it is. And
Well,
Yeah, the problem is that, you know, how does China, how does Russia, how do these outfits, how do they respond, right? Do they go, hey, you know, okay, we're going to have to like barrel back into our own nation and take care of our people? Or do they pull a Japan when we cut off their oil in World War II? By the way, yes, we cut off their oil. That's why they attacked us.
Yep.
Do they do that? And then do they fucking lash out? Because if they lash out, well, shit, now we're in a whole different circumstance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, you know, I'm going to chalk it up to stupid and evil. And the combination of the two is especially dangerous. So,
there is nothing more dangerous than stupidity and evil.
yes.
Well, and
Like-
going back to it though, it's like everyone's so convinced that Keynesianism works and that
The spirit animals. I heard that one on the news. the
right.
other day.
Well, in that World War II got us out of the Great Depression, they're going to think
No, it didn't.
Oh yeah.
the
Nope.
best way to fucking, that's what they say, but
Yeah.
they're going to think the best way to fucking like to get out of the depression is going to be to start a war, because
Yep.
you know,
Oh, it worked for World War II.
if you take an
I
extension,
mean, if that
cord
was
and plug it
true,
into
then
yourself-
America would be like, I mean, every single person in America would be a trillionaire, because since World War II, we've never not been at fucking war.
right?
I was born in
So-
1979. We've been at war every single one of those years. So
Yes. Yeah. You know, 83 here. Never not been at war. Like, this is it. That is the most ridiculous fucking argument anyone's ever made. You know, it's almost as ridiculous as like Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. No, he didn't.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. It had none of that shit had anything to do with that. The Emancipation Proclamation only affected the southern states, not the northern states. People don't know how to read.
right.
I got to go help my wife. I'll be right back.
All right, my brother.
All right. Now we get to talk mad shit about him. Yeah.
Yeah, we get to talk about the crappy attorney that's like, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
apparently lives in his basement because his wife makes him.
Unfinished basement. Look at that. I mean,
Yeah, I
do
know.
work.
Like, it's just some insulation and drywall, man. What are
Yeah.
you doing?
I mean,
You got
come
that
on, I've
nice
got a
chair. You could
backdrop.
sell that and get some drywall.
yeah.
Jesus.
That's
You don't even need insulation. You're in a basement.
God damn it! In a few weeks, I just moved in.
Uh-huh.
Sure. Yeah. Me too. Okay.
Hey, I make it a big deal when I complete something off of the honeydew list. So it's like, honey, I did it. It only took 6 months. It's done.
Look at all this great thing that I just did. Yay! That's funny. That poor guy.
Yeah. kids paying attention to their adults like talk to each other. Lisa was like, "Do you hate each other?" I was like, "No, this is how we
No.
bond."
No, this is exactly, this is how we bond.
Right?
This,
It's like, no, son, it's god awful, and this is the way that we have to cope with it. So,
yeah. I was I was talking to this guy the other day, you know, kind of based on what like Patrick was asking and stuff, and he was like, he goes, so how bad is it gonna get? And I'm like, well, what's the worst possible thing you can think of, right?
Yeah. Let's war.
And he was
right now.
yeah, like, you know, I was like, what's the worst possible thing you can think of? And he goes, I don't know, maybe that movie Red Dawn. And I go, cool, worse.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, wait, what? I'm like, and not necessarily that there's troops dropping in, right? Especially because China's not that dumb.
Yeah, no.
Like,
yeah, we're not
like,
dropping the Spetsnaz in the high school.
like, that's going to be a different game. That movie never made sense to me for one reason. America has always been the gun capital of the planet, right?
And they landed in Colorado.
Yeah. It, like at the time was super red area, 1979 or whenever that came out.
83, 84, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. But my outlook is like, oh, piñatas with bullets, cool. You know, so that movie never made sense to me for that reason. But it wouldn't make sense now anyway. Like they would never do that because they'd be like, they'd just kill us all before we ever even land. Like these people will be up on their rooftop, like rooftop Koreans, like popping off, you know. It'll be like what was that movie? Lord of the Rings or whatever. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? That'd be me and you on Twitter. I got 18, and you're like, I have 14.
Yeah, it was all fun and games until we hear the dwarfs start counting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm not concerned with that. I am concerned with the economic collapse that is happening.
Yeah, and it's going to blindside a lot of people, and they are going to be the ones that know that you've got stuff, and they're going to come to your house. Yeah, I think it's always kind of funny when I hear people say
they're only going to come to my house once.
Yeah, it's always so funny.
You know, the upside to having pigs is you can feed people to them.
That's true. They do get rid of a lot of stuff. Make sure you take out the hair and the teeth. You know,
I don't need to. If economies collapse, if everything collapses, so who am I worried about?
Yeah. Yeah, they always joke. It was like, "Oh, I'm coming to your house when the apocalypse happens." I'm like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
Yeah, Mr. 308 says otherwise.
Yeah, like I'm not. That's actually my biggest concern, to be honest, is the economic collapse, because it is going to put people in a position of extreme need and danger. And you know, it was I was having this conversation with someone, and I told them, look, a lot of people know, you know, that I have animals and shit, right? Like they understand that about my particular property or whatever. So, you know, worst comes to worst, right? They're gonna do what they need to do to protect their family, and that includes, you know, trying to get those things. And it's a weird situation because I'm not going to blame them.
Yeah.
They're not going to be successful, but I'm not going to blame them.
Yeah, you understood why Jean Valjean stole the loaf of bread.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you have to do what you have to do, right? So I understand that. And so it's one of those weird situations where it's like you're going to turn people on each other in a way that, you know, even the Great Depression, we didn't see it will, because our government is so much more inept than they were then. Yeah. And they were pretty inept then, but they were way better then than they are now.
Yeah, if you guys want a good preview of how all that would start, you can go onto YouTube and you can just look up what happens when the EBT card no longer works at the gas station.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Okay, so the EBT card.
I also don't know what an EBT card is.
All right, so that's food stamps. So they hand you a little,
okay.
Yeah, they hand you a little Visa card, and you can buy all the junk that you want. Well, there are several videos on YouTube where, for whatever reason, that EBT card doesn't work, and then there is a tantrum fit that happens.
What, are they like trying to buy cigarettes or something, or what?
Oh no! They would go and buy snacks or whatever from the convenience store for whatever reason. I think it was Missouri's state system didn't work that day. So they're going in there trying to ring up the little purchase of a Pepsi and a bag of chips, and it didn't work. And then the grown adults whose EBT card didn't work then proceeded to throw a tantrum fit and start throwing things on the floor, calling everybody racist and, pushing people and everything else. Now try to imagine that happening for thousands of people at the same time.
Millions of people.
Yeah.
Millions.
Just thousands in your local area.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sure. And where I live, I'm assuming there's probably a high level of EBT cards.
Yeah.
Because, well, I'm not going to say why, but I'm going to guess that there's a lot,
Yeah. I live in Diet Ghetto. I'm just a few streets over from actual ghetto. So, yeah.
Nice. Diet Ghetto.
Yeah. Just 1 calorie, not ghetto enough. So.
That's funny. Yeah, that's that's what my major concern is that the economic, look, you can't just print money. That shit's gonna blow up. There's no way around that nightmare. You know what I mean? Like I have James Ray coming on Saturday. We're gonna talk thorium and nuclear and shit like that. And I'm excited about the conversation. But we were having a conversation where he was like, 10 years ago, I was like, all economic, like the Fed's going to ruin everything. They're going to burn this thing to the ground, but all this printing and shit. And then he was like, and, eventually I had to be like, oh, okay, well, that messaging's not working. And I'm like, well, go back to it because it's, you just look at it right now, man. You look at lumber prices are 1,000% higher than they were last year.
Yeah, I posted a meme where this car had a piece of sheet plywood like stuck through its windshield, and it was like I just called the insurance company. And told them, yeah, I was like I called the insurance company. I said no need to pay me for the car. I got a sheet of plywood. So.
That's funny. One of the things that I've stated is that so last year.
He's coming back.
He's back. So,
yeah, we definitely weren't talking about his dick size.
No,
hey, I got to call it a night. I'm sorry, my kid's being a terror, and my wife is 8 months.
No worries, man. We're gonna wrap up anyway. So we've been a couple hours in now. So let's start with Patrick since he's the one that has to bounce out the quickest. What do you got going on? I've got all your shit in the description, your Twitter and your podcast. What's your grift? Tell everyone where to find you.
Unhallowed Pod.
Unhallowed Pod. I did a gothic horror podcast with my wife, so that's what that is. But
yeah.
So
I don't know what that means, but okay. That's not in the description below.
Well, you can find my work at the Libertarian Institute at libertarianinstitute.org alongside other fine podcasts that you probably know about. Otherwise libertyweekly.net. I've been writing articles at Libertarian Institute. And I have, I'm trying to work on a book right now, and I'm trying to switch my podcast format over to like doing more like Corbett Report style episodes where I do like scripted deep dive research stuff. So that's kind of what's on the horizon for me.
Okay, is it a coloring book or a pop-up book or what kind of book are we talking about?
Well, actually, it's
break it down for the crayon eater.
Libertarians need like some kind of a engaged pop-up book. I'm thinking
it's nursery rhymes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of my thing.
Mother, may I be free. I got you. All right. Good deal.
I saw a hole in the market and I thought I'd exploit it. So
yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, thanks for inviting me on. I really do appreciate it. It was great to meet you, and we'll have to do it again sometime in more of a, time when my child is not screaming and running around the house.
And you have drywall like a actual real human.
It's
Okay.
coming. It's coming.
It's coming. It's on the way.
That's what he says. We'll see. All right, thanks, Patrick. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks for having me on. Good to see you.
Take it easy,
Bye.
buddy.
Bye.
All right, Eric, you're up. Get your grift.
And get my grift. Okay. So
Get your
rebelwithcause.podcast.com/podcast for all the episodes /merch table if you want some t-shirts and coffee mugs. Other than that, you can check out my Substack where I'm doing cheesy sci-fi. So I got that, Substack for Rebel with the Cause called the Rebel Sci-Fi Corner. If you search it, it should be easily accessible. I'm going to try and put that up on my Twitter bio tonight. So, but other than that, I'll be at Childeberg next weekend. So if you're out there, come up, say hi, and maybe get on the podcast. I'll have microphones ready for everybody. So,
you're going to do one of those live shows? Yuck. Disgusting.
Yeah, so the first Childeberg I was there, Unreal Ada Adams was so drunk she came up behind me and started yelling at us about moving to Somalia and calling us idiots and everything. So it was fun.
Really?
Yes.
That's funny.
It was a great time, and she didn't know about it unless we hadn't recorded it. So
well, that's always a good time, man.
Oh, yeah.
On, bro. All right, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you coming on. And, you guys definitely follow Eric, follow Patrick. They're both great guys. They have some hilarious content. Other times they're little milquetoast.
Yeah. I can get
Anyway.
serious when I want to.
Peace, people.
Out.